What's up, everybody, and welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about, this is more of a response to a comment that I got from, I can't remember the guy's name or girl's name, whoever it is. But they seem to be busting my balls about the fact that if I had never taken a drug, that I would not have the physique I have today. That I don't look natural, yada yada, and you know what? Like I said, I'll never consider myself natural for the rest of my life, whether I do or don't take anything. And at the same time, I would look the same as I do now if I trained for 23 years consistently the way I did. No doubt in my mind. And here's why. Okay, maybe I'm not explaining this much to you. Maybe after you hear this, you'll understand a little bit. Because this guy just seems to be a jack-off who likes to poke me with a stick. But the bottom line is, I love proving myself. I love proving to people when they say, you can't do this, that I can, or you're wrong about this and I'm right. I love proving people wrong when it comes to stuff that I know. Now, why do I feel like I would be the same size if I had never taken steroids or growth hormone or any of that stuff, and I had just trained? Okay, first of all, 25 years of training, that is a long fucking time. 25 years of consistent training, okay? And since I was 270 when I was juiced up at the max, and right now I'm 215, maybe just under 215. That's a lot of fucking muscle lost. I don't care who you are or what you say, that's a shitload of muscle lost. So, here's the deal. My mom is Portuguese descent, maiden name Medeiros. Everybody in her family is fairly short. My mom is under 5 feet tall. She probably weighs about 120, 125 pounds or so. Very thick, very muscular. Very strong for her size. Okay, now she's about 4'11", 4'11". My grandmother was the same way. My grandfather, very, very solid, very strong guy. All my uncles, short, you know, not big, not small, but all have that same frame. My dad, now, here's the kicker. Now that he's like 70-something years old, I mean, he's not as tall as he once was, which is interesting. Every time I go to visit him, he gets a little shorter, and I know I'm not getting any taller. But my dad was about 6'1", and usually his heaviest was about 250, 255. Big dude, ridiculously strong. The same frame that I have right now, stretched out, is what my dad looks like. Same width of shoulders, length of arms, stuff like that. So similar that if you put us, I look like a shrinky-dink version of my dad. Okay? My dad's side of the family, again, now they're getting a lot older, so my uncle is close to 7 feet tall. Okay, my Uncle Mike. My Uncle Pat's about 6'3" or 6'4". My grandmother, my dad's mother, was over 6 feet tall. Okay? My dad's side of the family were like fucking giants. Okay? All of them extremely strong. So you have this one side of the family who's big and extremely strong, and the other side of the family who is short, stocky, extremely thick, and extremely strong. You put those combinations together, you get me. A combination of both. Now, what does this mean? This means that not only can I get lean, which I stayed pretty lean because my dad's side of the family actually was very lean. My dad was 6'2", 6'3", or whatever, and it was about 6'2" when he was, you know, my age, and you had a set of abs on him. You know, didn't work out or anything like that. Ate barbecue and drank beer, didn't matter, whatever he did, he looked the same until he started, well, actually not my age, I'd say when he was like 18, 19 years old. As he got older, he started to fill out and get big, strong, thick, and I saw him do stuff as a kid that, you know, he's got that dad strength, but on top of it, he's got like super dad strength. So it just, and he doesn't lift weights. He never did lift weights. He never worked out. The only time he worked out was in the military. He was military police. So without working out and stuff, he was that big and that strong. That's pretty good genetics if you want to be a bodybuilder or powerlifter. Now, my mom at the same time, being short, stocky, thick, and muscular, I always say she looks like a little bulldog. Her and my dad owned a wash, dry, and fold business at a laundromat. And my dad did the deliveries and my mom did all the laundry work. And did this for like 10 hours a day, consistently. Now, I don't know if you guys may, oh, it's only picking up 20, 30 pounds. But it's over and over and over again. Now, you can't do that job without a certain amount of endurance. So now on top of it, not only can I get big and lean, but the genetic code for endurance is there also. So all of that stuff is in me. It just needs to be turned on by whatever I decide to train or do. So when I started training, I went from that skinny, you know, little kid really fast to a bigger, thicker kid based on I did everything that I needed to do the right way, but my genetics were there. My genetics were absolutely there. If you see my family photos, you go, what the fuck? Like, they're all over the place. My mom's this tall, my dad's this tall, and, you know, everybody looks like all over the board, but when you combine those genetics, you get someone who's basically a mesomorph, who can do all those different things athletically. Now, in high school, here's a perfect example. In high school, I decided I wanted to play football. Okay, so I was a small kid. I was a thin kid, 130 pounds. I showed up at football practice in August or July or August or whatever it was, and they started putting us through the drills. Now, it's only practice, so I got to say, not everybody was pushing 100%. But through the whole season, all of our practices, without myself pushing, when we ran the drills, I would finish first. Okay, I would beat out the other kids that have been training for a long time and playing for a long time in all the drills, everything we were doing. Fumble drills, I would get the ball first. And I had never done this stuff before. Okay, I was barely training with weights at this point, but if you told me to do something without thinking, I could do it like that because I did have this athletic ability that I didn't even know I had. The same thing when I decided to wrestle. In high school, I wrestled 145. These kids have been training forever and ever and ever, but athletically I had one up on them. The problem was I didn't have experience. So if I got myself into a situation, I wouldn't know how to get out of it, but I'd be able to power out of it. And I used to wrestle up weight classes. So what happened is I'd weigh in at 145, and we already had a 145, which actually was my coach's son, Johnny Rogers. And they would say, well, you know, if you want to do the JV, because Johnny's going to wrestle varsity, you want to do the JV match, we need a 167. But that's like 20 pounds more than I weigh. I would go in there, and these guys would put me in locks and stuff, and I would just stand up out of the locks and stand up back on my feet. They'd push me down, I'd just flip them off me and stand back up and face them. They were like, what the fuck? The guy's 20 pounds lighter than me. How the fuck is he so strong? And all the time you'd get like, you know, oh, here comes the steroid guy. And I was muscular for my size. So I had this athletic ability, had the ability to build muscle, had the ability to burn fat and be endurant all at the same time without any real training for it. The genetics were already there. So I hope this explains to whoever that person was commenting on my thing about how there's no way I would have been this or no way I would have been that. I would have been exactly that due to my genetics and my work ethic. BiohustleTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below. www.biohustletraining.com is the blog, and we're out.